Okay, so we're gonna come at you from a partner perspective here on tracking. So what I wanted to get across, I know like when we talk about tracking, it sounds miserable, honestly, from my own perspective, even having tracked for the last 8 years, because it sounds restrictive, it sounds confining, it sounds like you have a bunch of rules. And so I want to talk about it at a little bit different perspective and kind of some ways to track, some ways to think about tracking, why it matters, and then also really how to just kind of start and where to start from. So let's start with that. So the very first thing, the most important thing that you need to ask yourself is what you're working on this month. And we'll just use this month as an example because I think it's good to just kind of revisit where you're at each month. We do that with our nutrition plans. We do that with our programs. So this month, let's say you want to, I just want to get my 17 21-day fix workouts in. That could be your goal for this month. And I think it's really important to look at when you're making this decision, one, what you're really willing to commit to. So like if I go in and be like, I want to lose 50 pounds this month, it's not necessarily realistic, right? You need to start at a place where you feel like you can absolutely, like something that's doable, something you're willing to focus on. Like, I don't want to go into it saying I have a weight loss goal, yet I'm not really willing to change my eating habits right now, right? Or I know I'm going on this 2-week vacation and it's going to be really hard for me to do a weight loss goal, right? So really get realistic and a goal that you can feel good about. So both things, which can be a little tricky, because I know sometimes we set expectations that are a little bit higher than maybe things that feel attainable. So the one thing you're willing to focus on this month, the one thing that you're like, if I do this, this will help me feel good. This will give me progress in my journey. This will, matter, right? For me this month, I'll use myself as an example. I want to get all my 21-day fix workouts in. And note, I will be subbing in my cardio with the bike. I'm totally upfront about it. Can't stand the cardio fix. So I'll be biking it. And then I also want to be tracking my containers. So I have spent the last 4 days, or today's the 4th day, right? Today's Thursday. I've been tracking my containers so I know exactly what I'm eating. And so that's my goal. I'm not saying that I'm going to be perfect in my containers. I'm saying I'm going to keep track. I'm focusing on trying to get those macros in a good place for me. So your goal may be to just finish the workouts, right? Awesome goal. Your goal may be to track your nutrition. It may be to learn more about the nutrition plan. It may be something even as simple as just adding a vegetable to each meal. So it's really super important that you look at what matters for you. And it doesn't matter, like Sue could have some amazing goal that I'm like, I'm not there right now, right? So it doesn't matter what her goal is. It matters what the matter is for me. I'm saying matters a lot. It's good. So that's the very first thing. What is your focus for this month? What's going to help you in this month get to where you need to be? The second piece that I think is super, super important is treating tracking like an experiment, taking the emotion out of it. Nothing you have done today that you tracked means you're a good or a bad person. It is simply data, because with that data, you can then move forward. So if your goal is getting those workouts in, checking that box each day feels really great. And then on the days you don't check the box, you see, okay, what happened there as an experiment? Why did I not get my workout in? Did I not get any sleep? Was I not, did I not have enough time in the morning? Did something in my schedule change? You can look at it as an experiment, as data, so that you can then help yourself do better the next time. to get that workout in, to finish the 15 workouts, 17 workouts, whatever your goal is for the month. Same with food, right? You know, maybe I didn't get all of my proteins in yesterday. So why is that? Did I not meal prep? Did I not have the food available? Did it not sound good? Do I need some different food options? Am I bored with my food? All of those things come into play, and it's looking at it from a third party perspective, right? This is just data. Doesn't mean I failed the plan because I missed that red. It doesn't mean that I should quit. It doesn't mean that, you know, everything's ruined. It just means that maybe I can help myself in some way to be better at, like, maybe prepping, maybe getting different foods, maybe choosing a new recipe, whatever it is that's going to help you along. Do you guys have anything to add to those two things before I don't want to just totally talk the whole time? But there's other things you want to add in.
No, you're doing a great job. Keep at it. No, I'm kidding.
Right, keep it going. Okay. Which also leads, I think, to the importance. Yes, Lily, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I like how you said that it was an experiment for tracking, to treat it as an experiment. So I like that.
Well, good. I'm glad. I think we put a little too much emotion and we put a high stake in it, right? That if we don't do it well, then we're not good enough, right? We're bad. And that's really just not the case. I mean, so much of what we do along this is changing our habits and changing our thoughts. And that takes practice, changing each of those things. I mean, none of us started out good at anything. And you had to practice it some way. You had to practice walking, you had to practice talking, you had to practice doing everything. So that's, where it comes from. We absolutely have to practice new habits, new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking. So along those lines, the importance of tracking. If we are, if we have this goal of getting in 15 workouts a month, then I don't know why I'm taking it away from food a little bit tonight, but if we have that goal, yet we don't check any boxes, at the end of 30 days, are you actually going to remember all the days you did a workout? Right? You're probably going to be like, I think I did like 14 or 15. I'm sure I did 15. And then, maybe you're going to look back and be like, I only did 12. Felt like I did 15. Same with food. When you get to the end of your day, if you're like, I'm pretty sure I had all the protein I need. I'm pretty sure I got, my vegetables in, or even the end of the week. And you're like, I can't even remember what I ate yesterday. So I don't know how I could possibly think about the past week and how I've been eating without having tracked it in some way. So when you create this goal, it's really important to have some way to measure it as your experiment on yourself to see how things are going. Because then at the end of the month, you can say, okay, I did this, this, and this. This went really well. I need to work a little bit on this. And this is how I'm going to improve it. So this is my next one thing, right? This is the next thing I can work on. And so then the last few things is ways to track. So if we're talking about food tracking, I personally use the app. There's lots of different ways you can do it. Like people even wear like if you're on Portion Fix, you can wear like colored bracelets and you move a bracelet to the other side when you've had that. You can use pen and paper. You can use your app. So that you can use meal planners, right? So that you have your whole week at a glance, so that you're prepared to know, what the shopping needs to be done, all those kinds of things. That's such a personal thing. And I encourage you to see what's going to work best for you. Try a few different things and see which one you stick to the best. But again, right, this is an experiment and your experiment's only as good as your data. So if there are things you're not capturing or it's not working, then you change the method of tracking so that you can see what's happening and And so if you are like I traditionally am, where I don't enjoy tracking, I've gotten a lot better about it because I have taken the emotional piece out of it more and more. And so if you kind of want to be a non-tracker tracker, then I would also set your goal towards something that is a simple tracking, right? Something that, so maybe it's getting a veggie on your plate every day. I'm sorry, every meal. And, making sure that you have some fruit, making sure that you have your protein. That way it doesn't feel too invasive right away or too like you're telling me what to do, because that's immediately where I'm like, whoa. And now I really want to rebel when you've just told me I can't do something or I can't have this. So, pick something that you can ease into, and then you can fine tune it as you go. You don't have to have it perfect in the first month or the first week or the first day. It's really about making sure you can make some progress through it. You're seeing, where your trends are, where the things are you want to work toward, and then having a way to have that data, right? Just having something to look at and say, okay, yep, this was great. This wasn't. Doesn't mean I'm a bad person, right? Remember that. And then go into it the next month with a little more. So what kind of tracking stuff do you guys like to use?
I'm more of a plan before I do it type person, usually. Like honestly, I'm so dialed in that because I've been doing it for 7 years and I really haven't wavered too far from it, which is because I'm just a creature of habit and I like it to be easy and I love food and I want to make sure that I have all my containers. So when people say, well, I don't measure my food, I'm like, okay, I see too often people undermeasure their food, like underguesstimate, and I am not about ready to not get all the food that I can possibly get in my body every day.
Jess has the perfect example of that with the avocado, right?
I'm like,
yes, I'm sorry. I'm eating chocolate chips. I'm making the mug cake again. Yeah, I did it the other day with blueberries. I was undercounting, so I would actually be getting less purples in a day because I assumed that the blueberries that were in my oatmeal was, a purple. No, I was way under. So, yeah.
yeah. And I see that so often. I mean, more often than not, when people say, I eat clean, I eat very, I eat clean, I make good choices, I don't have a lot of processed food. And most of the time they're under eating because in the process of not eating the processed food, they're not getting enough of those foods. And yeah. And so I'm very regimented. I don't necessarily always use the colored containers. Sometimes I use a scale because it's just easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've weighed certain things out and I just know after 7 years, you just know. You remember, it's like somebody's phone number. Except I don't remember anybody's phone number anymore. I just know how much, like 115 grams is generally a protein measurement for me. 115 grams cooked.
Yep.
So, there's just little things like that. So, but yeah, I don't remember what the question was.
I think how you guys track, and maybe I can't remember what else with it.
I don't know.
Or anything else you want to add into the tracking conversation?
Oh, you covered a lot.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
I steamrolled it.
For
Yeah.
me, I've done the paper tracking, I've done the app tracking, and I do it for like a week and then we travel somewhere and it all goes to hell. So I don't really know what I'm doing right now because I want to follow all the containers, but we don't have enough food in this house here I know that sounds really weird, and I'm not going shopping between now and Sunday other than stuff for Easter, so I'm kind of winging it. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm trying my hardest to track.
Yeah, but see, that would be like, that's a good example of
Mhm.
setting your goal to
Right.
what you can do this month. You have had a ton of travel. right? And
Yeah.
you're continuing to travel through the month. So maybe it's not realistic to expect yourself to follow the containers to a T, right? Maybe you'll go off like even some hand sizes, right? Like, a palm's going to be your protein, or, just some of that kind of stuff where you're kind of doing some guesstimating, and that's okay. And that's working right now.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Lily?
Oh, I was gonna say, I would find something that works for you, because I know for me, my phone is always with me, so paper doesn't work for me. I lose it, I misplace it, and it's never with me. So my phone for me works better, but I know other people just love paper and that works for them. So I would suggest finding something, whatever it is, it works for them to use that method. And I also try to keep it really easy. I don't try to make really complicated meals ever. I'm not that person. I love how you guys take recipes and cook them all the time. And I'm like, I'm going to make a bowl and I'm going to dump my greens in and my edamame and my chicken, and I'm good. So,
Yep.
That's fun practice. So yeah, that's me. I always just try to keep it simple. And, you said earlier, maybe, try to get your greens in every meal, but for some people that might just be try to get a green in a day, because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't even eat vegetables. So, it may, everybody's goals so different depending on what you're trying to work towards. So,
Mhm.
especially Sue, like you, when you travel so much, I mean, we're in the same boat. It's
Right.
sometimes you just gotta see how it goes and try to make the best choices you can when you're traveling and not let it get you down.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times I feel like when we're traveling, our bodies our digestion kind of slows down. And then depending upon how much we are moving, like anytime I'm traveling, I'm usually moving around a lot more than what I would normally move around. And then chances again, I'm probably under eating for what I'm doing within the day. And that's what I find, at least. So I don't stress as closely about it when I am traveling about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, like maybe you just focus in on where can I get my best meal choices, getting in enough
Right.
water. Like I find like I'm constantly downing the water just to make sure like everything's going well.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then just where can I make my best choices, and that's good enough.
Right. Right. Trying to steer clear of more of the processed foods more, and just trying to get more whole foods in when
Yeah.
I'm choosing things, and not stress as much about
Right.
specifics.
Well, and I think that's where some of us see some client frustration is like you've set this really, I'll call it lofty goal, like a goal where you've really got to hit everything to make it to this goal, yet your schedule isn't matching up with that. And so it really is so important to gauge what you can do in reality, how much change you can make in your habits, what you can do, because I think that's where the frustration and quitting comes from, is like, I'm just going to start this whole new nutrition plan day one, totally different from how I eat. And I need to be perfect at it for the next 30 days so I can drop 20 pounds and then I'll be happy.
Right. And
But-
then what perfect looks like is
Yeah.
different for whoever you are.
Yes, exactly. Your body may decide, even if you did it all, it doesn't respond the same way you want it to. You've had lots of years doing one thing, and it's like, hey, I don't really know what you're doing right now. I'm not sure I'm on board with this. But yeah, so I think it's really important to go into the tracking piece with an idea of what you're willing to do, and how that's going to look in your life.
So I'm wondering a little bit with the tracking, like Beverly, I think that's interesting that you still use the containers. Because it's, what are we on day 4 and I'm already like, I can eyeball everything. Like, what is wrong with me? I don't know. And it's like, I work from home, so it's not like I don't have, 17 sets of containers here. So I don't know exactly what my question is, but I guess my question is, how do you get yourself into the habit of actually using the tools that's a stupid, it's not a stupid question, but it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I just asked that. And this is recorded. But you know what I mean? Like, you're doing it for 7 entire years. I can't even do it for 4 days. And I'm already like, I think this was a red. So I'll stop there.
I just really
I
don't
feel
want
the
to miss
same
out
way,
on
though.
food. I seriously, I think everybody really thinks that I'm like, I don't know, because it was a shocker when it was like shocking to, I don't remember who it was, Deanna and somebody else, when I was talking about something that I did, like, what did I have recently? And you guys were like, oh my gosh, you went off the rails for, and it was just like, okay, I'm human. Like, I do plenty of things. Like, I eat rice cakes almost daily with sun butter and coconut and like shredded coconut.
That's my favorite.
That's your
Almost
treat.
daily. Like, almost daily. Like, it's just, I really love food. Like, it is, people say that there could be, like, I've heard that if you are constantly thinking about food, you could have an eating disorder. Well, then I guess I have that disorder because but I'm not mad about it either. I don't think it's a problem. I really, truly don't. I like to know what my meal is going to be next because I don't like to have to be stressed out about what I'm going to eat because I like to know that the food will be coming and that I will get to eat it. And so that's why, like, I plan ahead. Like, I know, like, this is what we're pretty much going to have, and I know this is what I'm going to have. And if I start getting bored with it, I take that in and I go, what can I do to change it and not make it more complicated because nobody needs that. What can I shift? And then I make a little shift and see if that works for a while. So
Yeah, I think just like specifically about using the containers, like if they're on my counter, if they're readily available, if they're washed, if they're, you know what I mean? Like, cause if they're dirty, I'm like, well, I don't want to clean that and then make it dirty again, then I have to clean it again.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, for me, it's like the availability matters a ton for me actually using it. But it's like one of those things that's like you're training yourself.
Yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
the key because they're on the counter and they're clean, and I still am like, don't need. I got this.
Yeah, there's plenty of times I'll take a measuring cup instead of a container and just
Yes.
do it too. Like, I'll take my
Yes.
half right in my rice pot and done.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
Because for some reason that's easier to clean. I don't think so.
Right.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
I think it's the whole lid. It's the lid. The lid makes it.
I don't even put the lids on though. Like, the lids are just
No.
still in the drawer. I don't even know how many of those
Yeah.
lids I have at this point.
I wonder.
Yeah, I
If,
don't know. But
like-
yeah, measuring cups are being washed like all day, every day. The half cup and the 1 cup, I wash those suckers like 2 to 3 times a day, at least by myself. And that's not including my other family members who also use them.
Well, you said like the reds are usually about 115 grams. I think that I might look into the conversion chart because I do like my food scale. Like, for me, I put the plate up there. I'm like, there's my chicken, and like I feel like I just like numbers.
I wouldn't worry about a conversion chart unless you're going to create it yourself. Like, think about the things that you do the most often.
Right.
Like, what do I make the most often? Like, sweet potatoes. I can't remember, Scott's not here, but there's a measurement. We know this is a portion of sweet potatoes already cooked. And that is what we measure it out at.
Yeah.
Huh?
The other, well, you also made me think, because again, I didn't have a very good question, but I think to trick my brain, I like the idea of always thinking that I'm under counting, because again, the reason why I don't use the containers is because I think I'm using the accurate measurement.
I'll sneak a little bit more in.
Yes.
I'm with you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Better. So
With you.
I think a good switch for me is in my brain is I need to measure because I'm probably under tracking.
Yeah.
And that actually is helpful.
Yeah, there's going to be more in my bowl if I measure.
Yeah. I get more food. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when I look at other people's plates and then I look at mine, I mean, I look at people all the time, what they're eating. I know so many women and specifically women. I've seen dudes too. And it's like, I eat you under the table practically. Like, how? Like, how are you living right now? Like, I don't get it. I can't eat that little. Like, it just,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't understand it. And I tell people, I'm like, I eat all day. Like, I eat. It's like, it's time to eat now. It's been a few hours. It's time to eat now.
Or wait a
let's-
minute, isn't it time to eat? If we've
It
got 20
actually
minutes,
is.
let's
My
eat.
It is
food's
time to
being
eat.
cooked over there.
I'm
We haven't
staring.
eaten in 20 minutes. Let's eat.
Did you make
No,
a
one
I know,
of these-
right?
I know.
I
One
did.
of these
Microwave.
days, I want to fill all the containers for everything that I'm supposed to eat that day, and just like do that for a whole week. And that way, I just grab the container and eat it, and then at the end of the day, they're all empty, and then rewash them and do it again. I
Yeah.
would love to do that.
That's a really good idea. Like we all have enough containers just to.
I
you
know. Wouldn't that be fun to just
gosh.
see if you literally can just eat them all and not make like a plan? Just go, this one's going to be chicken. This is going to be yogurt. This is going to be edamame, you know? And then just grab them and put it all together. Yeah. It'd be
I love-
fun.
My husband would hate me. He'd be
I'm
like,
sure.
all these containers.
I know. What am I supposed to do with all these?
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be a nightmare of containers. But yes.
Well, it'd be a fun
It'd be
little
fun.
game to play, wouldn't it? I mean, that's the other way of
Yes.
doing it. Like you're taking the good, the bad, the emotion piece out of it. You're making it,
Yeah.
you know, a game.
You could do that at Easter with all your containers. Make it a portion fix hunt, like container
That
hunt.
would be hilarious.
Like, make
Oh
your
my
dessert, pick a
What
red,
a great
blue,
idea.
What?
fun.
I think I'm just gonna put dollar bills in my containers and hide them out in the yard, and then I'll have the kids. go find
Yeah.
'em.
That's what
There
I was
you
just
go.
thinking. It's like, oh, that's a great idea. Although some of those are kind of big containers to hide, but I
I'm
don't
just
know.
going to go like this and throw them in the
Possibility.
yard.
Love
That's
it.
hilarious.
All right. Well, any other things on tracking you want to talk about? Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
How are
Hi,
you?
Kathy.
We're just getting to the question part. You're just in
Okay.
time.
Oh, good. I was in another
I-
meeting, but it was getting boring, so I came to you guys.
We're a lot more fun.
Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to say your vacation looked great. They had a
It was
good time.
amazing. Yep, it was amazing.
looked
There was
like
no
had so
tracking on
much fun.
vacation.
Definitely
And
not.
There's definitely
Well, no,
no
wait
way
a
to
minute.
track an
Wait,
espresso
wait.
martini.
We did track if it was been 20 minutes since we've eaten, though.
That's fair.
Yes, that is fair.
And we also made sure that everyone had an espresso martini, whether they were in the bar or not.
It's true.
True. That's
True.
fair as well.
Oh, it was very fun. So I was thinking we've been watching Down to Earth. Again, I don't know who my husband is anymore, just watching these healthy things. He's a new person. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting because, with gut protocol, you're supposed to get about 30 different vegetables, a variety of vegetables in, a month, right? Is it a month? It is a month, right?
No.
Oh my,
A week.
It's a week.
No,
A
Wait,
week.
a week.
oh wait.
yeah, we always fact check, Jessica. Okay. But they went to this restaurant in Australia, and it was him and Darren O'Leen, Zac Efron and Darren O'Leen sitting there eating. They had a salad. It had 60 different vegetables in it that were all grown right there
Wow.
on site,
Beautiful.
all organic. I was like, oh my gosh, how amazing was it? Like flower, it was a flower in there, like a cute little yellow flower. I just thought it was
Aw.
interesting. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's such a
Wow.
great show to watch. They have a lot of good points, like about health and about like
Mhm.
balance in your life. And yeah.
Yeah. I geeked out a
Hmm.
little. I was like, oh my God, Darren's Shakeology is in his bag. Oh my God.
Mhm. I haven't watched it. I need to watch it.
Oh, it's so good. I've
Mhm.
only gotten through a couple in the Australia season, but I've watched like a couple times the other season.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I don't have Netflix.
Oh man.
So yeah. Yeah, I know. That's okay though. I'll make it. I
You're
promise.
deprived. You're
It
deprived.
might be worth a free trial.
I was gonna say, don't they have
Oh, I
7-day
know.
trial?
Yeah, but that would require me to then binge something, and that is something that I don't usually do.
Yeah.
Commitment.
I don't take the
And-
time to do that.
if you're
I
like-
can make
and
it
if you're
through
like
like 2
us,
things. And then it's
you'll-
like,
you'll
okay, we're
forget-
done.
You'll forget to cancel, and then you'll sign up again and pay for it twice, you know? Just saying.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if are there any questions? Otherwise, I can stop the recording and we can go from there. All right.